what I talk about in the book is that the day that we got the ACH transfer, the direct deposit for selling the company, I was just at the kitchen table, with my wife, and the money came in, and then I asked her, what are we going to do for dinner? What should we do for dinner? Because I think I was going to make dinner that night. And then life went on. And so now my main motive is to actually help entrepreneurs, help people who want to create amazing things, people I call non-traditional entrepreneurs. So people who don't necessarily act like or look like or aren't from the same background or don't live in the same place as a Mark Zuckerberg or an Elon Musk or the late Steve Jobs. People who are great in their own right. And there's no shade towards them, or, I've connected with some of them. So they're great people. But not everyone fits that blueprint. I obviously didn't and still don't. I'm probably older than the average entrepreneur that's on the cover of Inc. magazine, which is the magazine I write for. And I'm definitely from a different background. I went to Northwestern, but I'm not from an Ivy League school. I'm not from MIT. I'm not a college dropout. And I'm obviously not white. And so there's so many different types of us and so much diversity that's available for us making impact on the world. And in my Inc. column, you can learn more about it at damonbrown.com. I do a column roughly every other day, so it depends on my workflow. But I have a lot of columns over there. And one of the things I talk about is how diversity is really our strength. And so whatever makes you different, the fact that I was a stay-at-home dad and I was happily married and I literally had a house with a picket fence and I was a little bit older, those things allowed me to have a balanced life while I created this app that became really, really popular. And if I didn't have those insights from my particular background, then it wouldn't have been possible. And so to backtrack a little bit, after I ended up selling the company with my two co-founders, about probably 3-4 weeks later, I talked with Inc. magazine. They were looking for columnists, and I just, was talking with them randomly, and I told them about my experience. And they said, well, why don't you do a column about that? So I started the column in 2015. It's been 4 years. And like I said, I do roughly 1 or 2 columns a week. And I explore how you can make your entrepreneurial mark without sacrificing everything in your life. And there are amazing people that I connected with in Silicon Valley who were only in their 20s, late teens in some cases, who totally burnt themselves out trying to, do the 72, 96-hour binges and living on monster drinks, which were popular at the time 10 years ago. Monster drinks, or before that, Red Bulls or whatever. And they just burnt themselves out. And I really wanted to save people from going through that process. There's going to be crunch time. There's going to be difficult times. I talk a lot about it in Ultimate Bite-Sized Entrepreneur, where a lot of that work I did was in the wee hours in the morning, and there were sacrifices I made, but I still knew what my priorities were. And so that kind of leads to the discussion tonight and the Q&A. And I have done keynotes. There's a major keynote that I've done now all around the world. And you can check that out again at damonbrown.net. And there's a lot of discussions that I have, and much longer discussions. But tonight I really want to focus on the Q&A aspect. The reason why I became a public speaker, aside from me doing books and that taking me around the country and later on around the world, it's also the ability to have one-on-one, or in this case is one-to-many discussions with many of you. As a coach of the non-traditional entrepreneur, people are trying to do something different within the context of their life. As someone who does a lot of public speaking, as someone who does a lot of books, I really am focused on serving and helping you get to the next level within the context of your current life. And so I really want to kind of open up the floor at this point and do that. And with HiCounselor, it's a wonderful platform that I just got involved in, and I'm glad we were able to partner on that. And the reason for me doing this is because I actually have a new book coming out in about a week and a half on February 7th. So the Thursday after next. You can learn more about it at bringyourworth.com. And I just got the copies in the mail. Very excited. It's called Bring Your Worth: Level Up Your Creative Power, Value, and Service in the World. And it comes down to 3 basic things, which are on the back. Number 1, everything you do has a partnership. Number 2 is to not wait for permission. So you can give yourself permission to create the life that you want. If you're waiting for someone else to co-sign what you're doing, you're going to be waiting for a long time. And often other people don't really have that power. And lastly, everything you do has a legacy. So whether you are a janitor working at a high school, or you're the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, all of us are creating or helping to create the world that we live in. And so no matter what you're doing, I've been a long-time freelance journalist, and there's a lot of folks I talk to that are independents, that are consultants, maybe some of you, who think that they're just kind of coming in as mercenaries and dropping this and that and doing this job just to pay the bills. But each thing that you do is like a brick in the foundation of who you are, not just personally and not just in a spiritual sense, but also as far as your impact on the world. So if you want to make a bigger impact on the world, then you need to realize that the work that you've done in the past has led you to where you are now. And you really need to value, no matter what work you're doing, no matter how much you're getting paid for it, even if you're not getting paid for it, to understand the value and the strength and the impact that you can have on the world at large. And so with The Ultimate Bite-Sized Entrepreneur, which was the book that came out a couple of years ago, thanks you guys for making it a bestseller and kind of taking me around traveling, speaking about the book. It was really focused on the tactical things. So it might be a good place to start. And so you can go to damonbrown.net and learn more about it, or go to bringyourworth.com, which is also a website that has a lot of my books available directly from me, and I can sign them for you. Or of course, it's available on Amazon. And with the Bite-Sized Entrepreneur, is really focused on the tactical. With Bring Your Worth, it's kind of like the next step as far as understanding where you fit into the greater picture, because you can have all these great tools. But as I've learned from coaching a lot of you, from doing my talks and then talking to people afterwards, from doing a lot of these interviews and webinars, there is that natural block. If you don't believe that what you're doing is worthwhile, then you can have every single tool in the world. You can have VC, venture capitalist backing. You can be bootstrapping and have all the traction that we had with Cuddler. You can have all those things. But if you actually don't believe that your path is worthwhile and you're waiting for someone else to co-sign you, that's going to be a difficult journey for you. And it won't really matter how many tools you have. And so that's kind of the nature of the Q&A tonight. And I'd love to get some insight from some of you that decided to join in and hear some of the questions that you have and see how I can serve you guys better.